Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, February 15th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. Wednesday night, the school committee continued the process of budget cuts in an effort to reach a mandated balanced budget before the annual town meeting in May. On the list of suggestions were the elimination of FTEs, as in full-time employees, throughout the school district. Before votes were cast, a question about the free cash budget was raised. Committee Chair Maya Bodenhofer, who also serves on the Budget Balancing Committee, gave further explanation to that concern.
It's not that I think it's a terrible idea to ask for some support at town meeting. I definitely agree. I just think we still, even with all the cuts that we made, we still have a $1.5 million deficit. And there was only $1.6 million in free cash, and I know there's some other demands on it. So I don't think that we can completely solve this problem. Should we ask for some relief? Yes, I agree. But I'm very nervous about the people getting the idea that there's enough money there to solve this problem.
At the conclusion of the meeting, the committee voted on the following: a 3-to-1 vote in favor of eliminating 3 FTEs at the Coakley Middle School, a 3-1 vote in favor of eliminating 4 FTEs at the elementary level, and a 3-to-1 vote in favor of eliminating 2.2 FTEs at the high school level. Committee member Teresa Stewart had a special message for the administrators and school staff in her addenda.
To wrap up my comments tonight, to everyone in our schools, students, teachers, principals, other staff, I hold you in high regard, and during this process of needing to balance an insufficient budget, I want to clearly state, you are worth so much more than these budget conversations currently reflect. I wish Dr. Frazek was still here, because as Coakley Middle School staff did last week for their students on Positive Sign Thursday, I have a sign for you. You are worth it. You are worth every meeting I'm in, every single discussion on social media I partake, every hour of research I do, every single second I advocate for this override. You are absolutely worth it. So thank you.
The school committee will not meet next week, as it is a vacation week for the schools, and will reconvene on February 27th. Early this week, it was reported by the state news stations that a teacher from Somerville was tragically killed in a hit-and-run accident. Thursday, 55-year-old Edward Clark of Norwood was arrested in connection to this incident. He was arraigned in Somerville District Court on Friday on charges of leaving the scene of an accident that resulted in a death. The police department has continued their busy February with multiple arrests made in the past few weeks. February 6th, the NPD conducted an investigation at Sunshine Asian Body Works for sexual conduct for a fee. Employee Liu Yi was taken into custody and arrested. On the 8th, NPD received a call about a carjacking that took place outside of Conrad's restaurant. As reported on the police department's Facebook page, officers broadcast the description of the victim's car as provided by her. Deputy Chief Peter Kelly was on his way home and spotted the car on Neponset Street. As it turned onto Route 95, he signaled it to stop, but it did not. Although the vehicle did not pull over, the speed was not excessive, initially just 50 miles per hour. The subject traveled up 95 to Route 128, down 128 to Route 24, and down Route 24 South. Deputy Chief Kelly kept the vehicle in sight and called in locations using an intercity radio channel. Eventually, units from the state police caught up with him, as did cruisers from Stoughton and Randolph. The subject, Timothy Kennedy of Norwood, was taken into custody. He is charged with carjacking and OUI and was arraigned Monday morning at Dedham District Court. And just this morning, February 15th, while the day shift was at a roll call, the Norwood Police Department received a call from an unwanted party at an apartment off Walpole Street. The MPD sent 2 radio cars, and when they arrived, the subject assaulted the officers and then continued to fight them. The officers called for help. Several marked and unmarked units responded, and the struggle was still underway as they were arriving. When officers finally got the man under control, Norwood Fire transported him to the hospital to be evaluated prior to booking. The MPD sent several units to escort the ambulance so that the scene would be safe when they arrived at Norwood Hospital. Although it took about 8 officers to control the subject, none have reported injuries, and the subject was taken into custody without sustaining any serious injuries. The subject has been charged with assaulting the officers and resisting arrest. Thank you, Norwood Police, for all your hard work. Stay tuned after this break to receive an update on St. Gabriels Chapel, and we hear from members of the Norwood Fire Department. Welcome back. Tuesday morning, Norwood firefighter Patrick McDonough hosted a group of town employees for a CPR certification class at the DPW building. The fire department often hosts CPR certification classes for town employees and residents, but what made this class different was the equipment used.
We got some new equipment that was generously donated by Norwood Urgent Care. They are wonderful down there, and we work with them, on a weekly basis almost, and they were generous enough to donate some money, so we were able to get new CPR mannequins that we have been able to use, and they're the updated versions that have feedback given to the person as they're going, not just after the fact.
Thank you to Paul Villar of Urgent Care Norwood for the very generous donation of $50,000 to the Norwood Fire Department for the purchase of new CPR equipment. Also, the Norfolk County Fire Chiefs Association held their monthly meeting at the Old Colonial Cafe on Wednesday afternoon. Fire chiefs from all around surrounding towns gathered to discuss various topics regarding fire safety services on the local and national level. Norwood's own fire chief, George Maurice, was in attendance and explained the importance of meeting at the OCC.
Hello Norwood, this is Chief George Maurice from the Norwood Fire Department here at the Old Colonial Cafe on Manhattan Street. Today we have a meeting of the Norfolk County Fire Chiefs. This is an organization where all the area chiefs meet once a month to discuss any issues facing the fire service locally, statewide, and nationally. We try to focus mostly on local issues. So we have all the surrounding communities from Norfolk County here. One of the best parts of being here at the Old Colonial is that this is the old fire station. I know a lot of the area chiefs love coming here and seeing what the old station looks like, how we used to operate with the old horse and wagons here. So it's apropos and a very good organization to improve and move the fire service forward.
Thanks for the update, Chief. Now we're going to go over to St. Gabriels Chapel, where Mark Ryan and Paul Rinaldi will update us on the construction.
Hello everyone, Mark Ryan here from the Public Works Department. I'm joined by Paul Rinaldi, Cemetery Superintendent. We're up here at the cemetery at the chapel. We're February 14th, 2019, and we're moving along on this project. Quite a bit of work has been done. We're looking for a completion sometime in March, maybe early April, with talk about a ceremony in May to celebrate this great facility. And Paul, you've been here on a daily basis checking things out, and there's a lot of work on the outside with scaffolding, and so a lot of masonry work is being done outside. All the joints have been rejointed with some kind of mortar. Some stones have been replaced. It was a very labor-intensive job where they pull a lot of the stones out, number them, reinforce the structure behind it, and then place the stones back. On the interior, we had a lot of brickwork you see here, and Paul, a lot of this brick looks like it's been redone.
Yeah, quite a bit of it's been redone.
So what do they do? They actually, was the brick failing and falling down?
Yes, it was literally breaking apart, and they just grinded out the bad sections and replaced those.
So if it's the brick could be reused, they would reuse it.
That's correct.
And then if they couldn't, they found another brick that would match the original. Now I see these, the plywood at the looks like windows. What's going on there, Paul?
That's where the stained glass windows that are being restored are going to be put back. Those are all stained glass.
That's really amazing. That's going to be so beautiful when it's done. And we're looking at a May ceremony, so by that time this will be 100% complete and will be ready for use for the townspeople of Norwood, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we can't thank enough town meeting for funding this project, the Community Preservation Group for adding some more money for this project, and all the support throughout the town. And we're looking forward to this project being done, and we can't wait to show it off in May.
Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your local government. Welcome back to Norwood News. The Planning Board met in Town Hall Monday night to discuss a number of topics. In addition to discussion of open lot storage, the board discussed the idea of moving the zoning lines surrounding the commercial business district to add further flexibility and protection to surrounding residential areas.
By doing this, where the central business is now and is not changing, by moving that line, is it a moot point? Or are we giving any more protection to those people? Those residents by moving the line than
Because
what's
it's central
available?
business
than
right
what's
now.
available there now? Is this are we protecting, by doing Debbie's motion, are we protecting those properties more than they're protected? I mean, they're not protected today, but are we giving them any kind of protection?
Yeah, that they would not be able to have a density of residential units in those areas.
That would be
because
consistent.
they're not included in
Thank
that
you.
overlay
Okay,
district.
good. Okay, so I'm all set, thank you.
With one member absent, the motion to move the zoning lines passed by 4 votes. The board voted to go into executive session at the end of the meeting with the only purpose to come out was adjournment. Tuesday morning, the Board of Health met for their monthly meeting. Along with the nurses' report and updates on the Drug-Free Communities Grant Program, the food safety report was discussed. Crushed Peppers, an establishment that had some difficulty with the board in recent meetings, has since improved and trending in the right direction according to the report.
Update on Crushed Peppers. I did a routine inspection yesterday at the location. It was a pretty compliant inspection with the issues he's had in the past. He continues to have weekly pest control service. I did read last week's report, and the activity has seemed to decrease. So that's what the technician wrote on the report.
Good.
They are, again, continue to come every week. They're coming this Thursday, and he's going to send me that report as well. I told him to stay on a weekly schedule with them until the activity further decreases.
The next Board of Health meeting will be March 12th. The regularly scheduled Board of Selectmen meeting was canceled this past Tuesday. However, the board held a public hearing Thursday at 4 p.m. for the Kia of Norwood dealership. Dan O'Brien was in attendance to request an application license for his newly required Kia dealership in Norwood. Selectmen Maloney, Plasko, and Bishop represented the board and approved the motion unanimously. The board will be back on schedule this Tuesday, February 19th. Wednesday night, the Community Preservation Committee held their second meeting in as many weeks to continue their discussion on potential projects. Topics such as the new playground development and a potential trail project on University Ave were covered. To end the meeting, the committee discussed their timeline and what they plan to accomplish before the town meeting in May. Also Wednesday night, the Trails Advisory Committee presented as part of Together Yes's Sustainability Series at the Norwood Library. Committee member Joe Greeley explains.
Hi, I'm Joe Greeley, chairman of the Norwood Trails Advisory Group. We've just completed a presentation as part of the Norwood Sustainability Series. We were invited by the Together Yes group to present the status and our vision for the Norwood Trails. We really appreciate the invitation from Susan Clare and the organization. The room was full. We had roughly 75 to 80 people.
To watch complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your schools.
The Norwood Senior Center's mission is to identify the needs and promote services for older adults. The center is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and during the summer they remain open until 8 p.m. on Tuesday evenings. To contact them, call 781-762-1201 or visit www.norwoodma.gov.
Welcome back. Now let's toss it over to our good friend Tim Rose to find out what is happening around the Norwood School District.
Hi guys, let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. At the Cleveland School, as part of their water and weather unit in science, the 5th graders learned about water mitigation and used the engineering design process to design water filters as a solution to stormwater runoff. The Bemdeli dancers and drummers had the whole Cleveland School singing and dancing. The company incorporated drumming and movement to their program about African culture, rhythm, and music. The students celebrated 100 days of school by collecting 100 items, dressing up as 100-year-olds, and designing 100 theme artwork. The Cleveland Student Council spearheaded a food drive for the 100th Day of School celebration. Every grade level was asked to bring in at least 100 items to donate to the Norwood Food Pantry. What a great way to celebrate the 100th day and also help those in need. Students and staff at the Willett Early Childhood Center enjoyed an interactive performance from a Brazilian drumming, dancing, and martial arts group called Groovosity. Everyone learned about Brazilian rhythms and dances such as the samba and maculele. They learned the names of the Brazilian drums and watched demonstrations of capoeira, a form of martial arts from Brazil. The students had a chance to play the drums, dance, and learn a few words in Portuguese, which is the language spoken in Brazil. The teachers got in on the fun and danced for the students. Let's give a special shout out to Willett teachers Mrs. Gomez and Mrs. Heil for showing off their samba skills. Obrigado, which is Portuguese for thank you, to the Willett PTO for sponsoring this event. This week, some of the classrooms at the Little Mustang Preschool Academy celebrated Chinese New Year. This year is the Year of the Pig. The children painted pigs and made Chinese lanterns and dragons. They also practiced their fine motor skills using chopstick and yarn as noodles in their sensory bin. Another classroom turned their dramatic play center into a Chinese restaurant with menus, chopsticks, and special foods to eat. Gong hai fat choi! Love was in the air this week at the preschool. The children and staff enjoyed a special visit from some cupids who flew in from the senior center. The serenading seniors sang a few songs for the children and gave each child a special Valentine. They are looking forward to more opportunities in the future to have some cross-generational activities with our senior center friends. They also have a musician on their teaching staff. Miss Madison, daughter of Senora Kelly from the high school, brought in her guitar to sing some Valentine's Day songs with all of the morning children. It was a special treat, and we thank Miss Madison for sharing her talents with all of us. The children were busy practicing their letters and sounds, as well as counting and number identification with some fun Valentine games. They also made Valentine's Day cards for their families and read many stories that touched upon love and friendship. It's obvious the children love learning at LMPA. At the Balch School, third graders presented their living wax museum to their classmates and families. The students have spent the last 6 weeks researching a historical figure with a connection to Massachusetts. Each student then completed a biography on his and her person. At the Wax Museum, the student came dressed as their person and answered questions about their lives. It was a wonderful way to celebrate all that the students had learned. Miss DiNapoli's 4th grade students have been researching extreme weather patterns as part of their nonfiction reading curriculum. Along with writing a 5-paragraph essay, they had a culminating project where they used Google Slides to produce a short video and presentation on their extreme weather project. Also at the Balch, Miss Davis's 4th grade class started Reader's Theater, and students learned about prosody. Prosody is reading aloud fluently to convey meaning. In these videos, children are in groups practicing using prosody by reading short scripts from reading A to Z. At Norwood High School, congratulations to seniors Joe Spidorsha and Sophia Belande, who have been selected for Students of the Month. Joe is headed to California during vacation week to experience high school TV at Carlsbad High School. Norwood will then host a Carlsbad TV student later this month. Enjoy the weather, Joe, while you're out there. At the Coakley Middle School, there are many after-school activities available for the students. One of the unique clubs is the Bowling Club. Every Friday, 30 students roll down to Norwood Sports Center to play a few strings. The club is run by teachers Rachel Siegel and Julie Bayedes, who sent in this sports report. The CMS students were knocking them down 1 pin at a time at the bowling alley last Friday. Sophia Tuma, Matt Bagan, and Zach Badger each had spares and 10s to brag about. Eamon O'Reilly scored his first spare of the season, while Jason Delacarpini, Grace Allen, Eric McLean, and Heather Hart can add perfect 10s to their resume. But it was Michael Marchand who really lit the place up with a spare and not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 10s. Bowling is clearly right up his alley. We'd love to see some new faces as well, so come and join the club. Bowling can really be fun in your spare time. It sounds like these teachers are also very clever writers. Thanks for sending in this report. Last Friday, the Prescott School held their first Grandparents' Day. The cafeteria, classrooms, and hallways were all full with new students, and it was a big hit. Let's hear from Principal Brian Riley.
So this morning at the Prescott, we had our first annual Grandparents' Day. Grandparents had the opportunity to come and see their grandkids in action in the classrooms and specials. We started off the morning with pastries and coffee, some socializing among grandparents, and they had a special treat entertained by our 4th and 5th grade orchestra under the direction of Mrs. Bedard. I gave a brief overview, talked a little bit about the school, what the average school day would be, some of our demographics, and then what some of the things are that make us really proud here at Prescott. And then the real fun started, and grandparents were able to go and see their grandkids in their classes. Some had special events planned. We had a couple of classes that were working on grandparent valentines, where grandparents or the students had worked on poems about their grandparents. In 3rd grade, for example, they were sharing some Google slides about their wax museum figures, historical figures, and they even got to participate in specials like physical education and library and computer lab. Overall, a great day, a great, fantastic turnout, larger than we expected, and something that we're looking forward to making an annual tradition here at the Prescott.
This is absolutely a wonderful day. I always wondered why there couldn't be a Grandparents' Day. The kids are so excited to see their grandparents. It's just wonderful watching them in their classes. I'm just loving it. I bought the sweatshirt a little while ago, and I thought, what a perfect opportunity to wear it for my grandchildren.
For some grandparents, it had been a long time since they walked the halls in an elementary school.
Oh, Lordy, it's been very many years. I almost forget the 4th grade. I forget. It's wonderful, but it's much more technology and everything than we ever had. It's amazing here.
It was a great morning enjoyed by all ages. It looks like Principal Brian Riley has started a new tradition at the Prescott School. Well, that's it for school news this week, and the schools are headed into February recess, so I hope everyone enjoys the break, and we'll see you back in class on February 25th. Now let's go to Brian Dunn with our weekly sports news.
Hey there, Norwood. Brian Dunn back for another sports update. We're drawing ever closer to MIAA tournament time, and many teams are gearing up for the road ahead. No time to waste, let's bring you around the league and update you on the latest. We take you over to Robin Arena in Walpole, where the boys hockey team took on the Denham Marauders in Saturday afternoon hockey action. The Mustangs took full control of the game and jumped out to an early lead and did not look back. Harry Gober lights the lamp early in the first period off a one-time feed behind the net to make it 1-0. Only minutes later do we see a nifty backhand top shelter from captain Chris Martin to put the Mustangs up 2-0. An insurance goal from a bad angle, no less, from Jake Russo gave Norwood the edge they needed to seal a duel, and the Mustangs beat Dedham 3-0. And on the court, it's no secret that the girls' hoops team have had a historic start to their Tri-Valley debut season. They clinched their spot in the tourney weeks ago, but this win over Hopkinton has its own sweet taste to it, as the win officially makes the Norwood Mustangs your 2019 girls basketball Tri-Valley Large champions. Big congrats to all the girls and Coach Clubley on what has been a dynamite season so far. And recapping the rest, the boys hoops team traveled to Westwood this week to take on the Wolverines. Westwood comes out on top in this one, 70-51. The girls hockey team got a crucial point in favor of their tournament quest this past weekend with a 1-1 tie against a very competitive Westwood team. They take on Medfield this coming Saturday at Robin Arena. And the swim and dive team traveled to compete in the MIAA sectionals over the weekend. The 200 medley relay team of Michaela Hurley, Michaela Jordan, Gia Rodriguez, and Megan Sopel swam their fastest time to date of 2 minutes and 58 milliseconds for a good 13th place. The 200 freestyle relay of Sopel, Haley Barrows, Hurley, and Rodriguez cut 5 seconds off their fastest time of 1:48.61, placing 18th, but more importantly qualifying for states in the meantime. A personal best from Michaela Jordan and Hurley in the 100 breaststroke, plus a team best time in the 400 freestyle relay gave the team a lot to be proud of. Well done by all, and for those going to states, best of luck. We'll catch up with you next week. Wrestling also competed in the D2 Metro sectionals this past weekend as well. The team placed 5th overall, and wrestlers will be competing in states this coming weekend. Kevin White, JT Timlin, John Maffeo, Dan Barron, Don Maddox, Ryan Sue, Kevin Curtis, and Cordell Souther will all be competing in states this weekend. Good luck, and we look forward to good news to come. In Nuggets news, the PWC team, after a hard-fought loss in their playdown game this past week, earned an invitation to the state tournament coming up. Congrats to the team on your hard work. The PWB2 continues to have a successful season as well. Playing out of the South Shore Conference, Joe DeBlasi's squad was moved up to the B Division, where they continue to play competitive hockey as the playoffs near. Have had the chance to play on the ice at the Providence Civic Center and are heading north next weekend to participate in the Waterville Valley Tournament. Goalies Brody Foley and Landon Duhamel have split duties this year, picking several shutouts over the course of the season. Offensively, the team is led by its 3 centers, Evan Sharkey, Brandon Lee, and Derek David. Job well done, boys. Best of luck next weekend. And that's it for me for sports. As always, you can find scheduling and scores by following NHS_Mustangs on Twitter and online at norwoodmustangs.com. Back to you, Kristen.
Thanks, Brian. It was announced by the Norwood Fire Department that Lieutenant Firefighter Joe Mon is returning to Norwood soon. Mon was deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba in March of 2018 and will be returning to his fire department duties soon. We throw it down to Town Hall, where veteran agent Ted Mulvihill has more info on his service.
One of the most joyous of occasions where a son of Norwood who has served his country with great honor and distinction has returned to our town safely. Staff Sergeant Joe Mon is a man that many of you know, who is totally devoted to his family, his country, and his God. He is a great example of the young men and women who have raised their right hand and sworn to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States, and done so voluntarily, and helped our country maintain the freedoms that we all enjoy today as Americans. So, on behalf of the entire veterans community and the town of Norwood, I'd like to officially welcome Joe Mon home and thank him for his service. He has done us proud and continues to do so every day as a firefighter for the town of Norwood. So in the services we say, job well done, and that's phonetically, Bravo Zulu. So to you, Joe, Bravo Zulu. Welcome home.
Thanks, Ted, and welcome home, Joe. Thank you so much for all your service. This Friday is the last shift of a 42-year career by Norwood Police Officer Bobby Baker. We would like to wish Officer Baker good health and happiness in his retirement. We greatly appreciate everything that you've done for the Norwood Police Department and town of Norwood over the past 42 years.
On February 9th, 1977, Patrolman Robert Baker joined the Norwood Police Department. Today, 42 years later, we announce his retirement. Officer Robert Baker, or known to many as Zim Baker, who has been sporting Shield No. 1 for a number of years. Patrolman Baker has been assigned as the Chief Records Clerk for over 2 decades, as well as the Hearing Clerk at Dedham District Court. It is believed that he is the first Norwood police officer to achieve 42 years of service and has served the town of Norwood with honor and distinction. The Norwood Police Department wishes Officer Robert Baker and his family good health and happiness in his retirement. Congratulations, Bobby. Norwood Control clear and standing by.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.